Oh, hey there. How you doing? Oh, me? I'm doing alright.
What do I want to play today? Perhaps a driving game? How about a good old platformer? Or maybe a rail shooter?
Hey, punk! How about you play a game with all three?
All three? Damn! Hey jabronis, today we're going to look at a game called Vice Project Doom. This is a game I heard of, but I never played it until now. Have you guys ever played this game? What'd you think? This is a late night retro. Let's have a look. I have to say right away, having beat this is a well put together Nintendo game. Pretty on point for a 1991 release. Reminds me a lot of Shatterhand mixed with Ninja Gaiden 2 and Contra. It is by a company named Sammy, who released only two other NES games, Ninja Crusaders in 1990, an action-type platformer, and Silkworm, a scrolling shooter which is a port from the arcade. Sammy later teamed with Sega, as both companies were having a hard time staying afloat. Vice Project Doom's title screen doesn't have a demo playing or anything, it goes right into the story, and you're greeted with a cutscene. I watched all these cutscenes while playing through the game, and it was kinda hard to follow what the hell was really going on. Some of this is due to translation issues, the other part just because it was vague and all over the place. The opening one pretty much lets you know some sinister shit is going down. They're unraveling Project Doom. However, one of the subjects escaped. The boss man orders a peon to find and cancel this subject, and that is where your adventure begins. To sum the story up though, there is an alien race that has been living in secrecy under the guise of a corporation named Beta, who is supposedly developing electronics and military equipment. Turns out these sons of bitches are producing a gel-like substance that they were to use as food. They found out that this food acts like a drug to humans of the underworld, and they've been selling it. The drug has horrible side effects and is highly addictive. Your partner Reese was sent to investigate this company and then disappeared. You now take the role of Detective Hart in hopes to find out what happened to your fellow vice partner Reese, and to finally get the scoop on what is really going on with this Beta corporation. The game starts you out with a driving level, which acts a lot as a shoot 'em up. You can switch gears with the A button to speed up your car, but it's more of a novelty than anything else. You really are just mashing the B button to shoot a non-stop stream of rockets while zooming by or through objects. There is one other driving stage in the game, and they both are very easy. The second one was a little more difficult, as you will fight a boss. Looking at this game as a whole, I dig they incorporated them, but by themselves, they are pretty mindless. Other than driving and platforming, they also mix in two arcade-style rail shooter levels. Like the driving level, the first one is really easy, while the second one becomes more difficult. You will blast down enemies with your pistol or use your grenades as they pop up and appear on screen. You don't have infinite bullets or grenades, so while shooting, make sure you're on the lookout for pickups. So outside the platforming, was the rest of this fun? Yeah, it was pretty fun. I like how they tied the cutscenes and story to these levels, and in the end, it made this game more of an experience, more of a production, than most NES games. Now for the meat and potatoes of the game. At its core, Vice Project Doom is a platformer first and foremost. The platforming is very forward, and I like that about this game. There isn't much waiting around, it's very in your face and action packed. There are enemies that throw projectiles, you'll have to duck bullets, jump them, along with ladders to climb, ceilings to avoid, and other elements that will affect the movement of your character. But in the end, the game is pretty forgiving. You can almost mindlessly slash and whip your way through levels with just avoiding the pits, and you'll have pretty good success. One of the flaws is the game felt too easy. You only take like 1 damage from pretty much everything, and your health meter is already pretty large, and as long as you're decimating enemies, you will find many more health refills. All the stages are very short, and on top of being short, they even come with checkpoints. Now I say it's a flaw, but in the end, this would be a completely different game if it didn't function like this. Most of the fun comes from it being like a hack and slash or a beat 'em up. The game has you moving through levels like you were playing Contra or something. The controls are very fast and responsive, and the game uses that to its advantage. Enemies often are leaping at you or fall from ceilings really quickly, and reacting with a perfectly timed slash on them just feels really damn good. It's a way to break up the standard hacking and slashing and engage you as a player. Your main attack is your laser whip, and this dude can whip it good. There isn't much delay between slashes, and you can really do some work with it. Other than that, you have your trusty revolver, and some grenades which are limited in use, though you're able to collect more off of vanquished enemies. I was trying to be crafty when I started playing this by switching up my weapons through the stages, but in the end, just using your whip and acting like you don't give a shit about anything around you was the best and most satisfying method in my opinion. The grenades and the revolver aren't completely useless. I found they were the way to go on many of the boss fights. The patterns and concepts of the bosses are well done. They all are unique and keep you on your toes. I wasn't able to run up to any of them and cheaply slash them down. The final boss is the most difficult. It took me 1 hour to get to the final boss while watching the cutscenes and playing pretty casually. And then it took me a half an hour just to beat the final boss. The stage leading up to the boss and the boss himself definitely caught me off guard and laid the smackdown on my candy ass. My mostly easy playthrough got tested right at the end, and I'm glad to say I prevailed. Now that I know what to do though, I bet you I could beat this game in like 30 minutes or less. If you feel like playing some Nintendo and don't know what to play, or you're looking for something new to play, I recommend this game. The controls were spot on, the graphics are good, and the music is pretty great. It's a nice short action-packed style platformer which didn't stress me out, hurt my ears, or just simply disgust me. This has been Late Night Retro. Thank you for watching. Until next time.